Sheesh. NBA playoff action tonight was interesting to say the least. We saw a lot of great performances by the NBA stars that we all know. And a few of these playoff series that we expected to be concluded early, it seems like we're going to be in these series for a little bit longer. Now, of course, we had the Knicks take on the Hawks, Lakers versus Suns, Celtics versus Nets, and the last game of the night, we had the Clippers take on the Mavs. Before I get into the recap, of course, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you enjoy the NBA content, tell your friends about DJ Steve-O. What's up? Go ahead and let them know about the channel, share the content, but of course, let's get into the video. So, Knicks versus Hawks. This was a series that we honestly expected to be a little bit more competitive than what it is now. And I think it's due to the fact that the Knicks offense is very, very stagnant and is very, very poor. And this can be stemmed due to the fact that Julius Randle is not playing his best basketball. We could talk about Julius Randle to the cows moo home, or is that the saying, cows moo home? I don't know what it is, but something like that. We could talk about this to the end of the time, but Julius Randle is not playing his best basketball. And you can look at the box score and say that today he had a better game, but if you're watching this game, Julius Randle was still out of it. It seemed as if like a lot of things were being forced, and the Hawks are easily getting whatever they want against this Knicks team. And then again, the Knicks are good in this season. They were a great defensive team, but if you can't have an offense to back you up, you have to have both, and they don't have an offense right now. You can see D Rose trying to carry the team to begin the first half, but this series is going to end very, very quickly in Game 5 if they still can't figure it out. And we got to give credit to Trae Young, give credit to Danilo Gallinari. I think that's how you say it. Absolutely. But those guys in Atlanta are doing a great job over there. Their offense is looking really smooth, and I honestly think they'll get it done in Game 5. I think Trae Young will have a great game in Game 5, but there's not much to really take too much from this series, but the fact that the Knicks are their best players not playing their best basketball. It's pretty much that simple. If your best player who carried you in the offensive load this season is not playing his best games or putting out the best effort on the offensive side of the ball, it's going to be tough to win. This team is young. Again, this team is young, so we have to give them some credit. The Atlanta Hawks have some vets on those teams. They have Clint Capella, Danilo Gallinari, Lou Will. These are guys who have been there. So Trae Young, John Collins, these guys are learning from those vets. And this Knicks team, they got D Rose, they got Todd Gibson, but it's not easy. You still need your best player to play his best basketball, and Julius Randle's not doing that. So we'll see how far they go, but we'll see how they do in Game 5. Let's get into the biggest story of the night. The Lakers versus Suns. Anthony Davis down with a groin injury. Went down in the third quarter. When Anthony Davis went down in that third quarter, from that point on, the Suns went on a crazy run and ran that third quarter. By the end of the third quarter, it seemed like the game was out of reach. The Lakers made a slight little run in the fourth quarter, but it just felt like you guys were too little too late to come back into this game. And we got to talk about how CP3 looked like if his arm is messed up, I don't know, it's perfectly fine now. This guy looked perfectly fine. He was doing what he always does, finding guys open, setting up his teammates, playmaking for everyone, and also being a leader on that court as well. So CP3 being healthy right now, he is still dealing with the shoulder injury, but he is still playing as if like that's not even bothering him no more. And it was good to see that for him if you're a Suns fan. Jay Crowder had a great game from being the joke of the town in Game 3 against spin moved and reverse laid on. He hit the go-ahead three to really, really end the game for the Lakers run. So credit to him. My problem with the Lakers right now is AD is day-to-day. So what are they going to do now? Because the Lakers are in such a it's funny because I honestly believe that the Lakers they're a better team than the Suns. But without Anthony Davis, LeBron James is going to have to go through what he did in 2018 with that Cavs team. Because I looked at the team today, Kyle Kuzma's giving them absolutely nothing. He's just a body on the floor. And we're going to have a conversation about Kyle Kuzma very, very soon. And it just seems like there's no pure shooting on the team. I haven't even mentioned KCP's not playing. He got injured. And again, when I was looking at that third quarter, people were talking about, oh, the Lakers suck. Well, they're missing the two guys who run the pick and roll defensively great. KCP on that perimeter, who will lead you into Anthony Davis. Those two guys play the pick and roll defense great. And the Lakers are missing that as well. It's going to be tough. The Lakers in Game 5, LeBron is going to have to play an all-time game, because in this game here, you saw in that fourth quarter, LeBron realized that he can go ahead and do what he needs to do, but it was too little too late. And again, LeBron he's averaging pretty good stats, 22 points, over 9 rebounds, 8 assists, but that's LeBron James, and we don't expect him to do that. We expect him to be doing a lot more than what he is doing right now. He's got to be more aggressive. and he's gonna have to need more help from his teammates. But we'll see how far it goes, because this Suns team, this is a game where they dominated from start to finish with just CP3. DeAndre Ayton is having his come out party. Devin Booker, we know about him since 2016, but he's having his come out party in the playoffs. This team is going to be wild out in game 5. The fans are going to go crazy. This is a game where LeBron James has to carry this team, and I think that it's unfortunate due to the fact that AD may be out. If he does play, then this is a better situation for the Lakers. But game 5, series tied 2-2. It's a 3-game series. The best players got to be the best players, and LeBron James, I expect him to be the best player. Game 5 is going to be crazy. Let's go ahead and check it out when it happens. Let's get into game Celtics versus Nets. Man, Kyrie's revenge, bro. Before I even get into that, I want to talk about the fact that a fan threw another item at an NBA player. Kyrie Irving was walking off the court, and a fan threw a water bottle at him. I will give context. I believe Kyrie stepped on the logo for the Celtics right before he left, but that doesn't give a fan a right to throw a water bottle at somebody. You could have actually, not saying a water bottle is going to kill somebody, but you could actually hurt him. And the fan got arrested, but again, I talked about this in one of my last recaps. That shit got to stop. And I think he got arrested. He's banned from the TD Garden, but that shit got to stop, bro. Like, I don't know what's up with NBA fans, but we haven't had an arena open over the past 15 months, and now we have it open again. We're blessed to be back in the arenas and see the NBA players play basketball, and you doing that dumb shit. Like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, do you have any sense? Like, come on, bro, think. But that's besides the point. Let's talk about the game. So, the first few minutes, it looked like the Celtics were on the same stuff like last game. They were looking pretty good offensively, but man, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, when they want to hoop, they will hoop. And I'm telling you right now, they're a tough team to beat offensively. I think defensively, they're still not there yet. There is times where the Celtics just seem like they can get whatever they want, but you can't keep up with that offensive scoring load. Only the best few teams might be able to do so, and you might get lucky. But man, I just posted a video about James Harden. You guys can go ahead and check that out. But Kyrie Irving had his revenge against the Boston Celtics fans that, don't like him. KD was getting whatever he wanted. Like, KD would, like, I don't know what Brad Stevens is doing when he had Tristan Thompson switching on James Harden and Kevin Durant. Like, that should blow by. Like, man, these guys are literally just ISOing the Celtics and saying, here, let me get the ball. Here, you want the ball? Let me score now. Like, they're seeing food and they're just going at it. So the Brooklyn Nets, this series is going to end in 5 in Brooklyn on Tuesday. But I'll give credit to the Celtics, because even in that fourth quarter, it was already a far gone conclusion that the game was over, but they still were competing, and I'll give them some respect in that. Again, they didn't have Kemba Walker playing in this game. I can't think of his name. Robert Williams. Here we go. Robert Williams, who had 9 blocks in game 3, didn't play. So this game was already peak from the jump for these guys, but we'll give them their credit. They did what they needed to do. They tried, but the Brooklyn Nets, like I said before, we're waiting for that Milwaukee Bucks series. That series is going to be insane, and I think that Kyrie, James Harden, and KD, from what we saw in this game today in this series, they're just getting together. They're meshing together because of the lost time due to injuries, and they're gonna look they're getting their chemistry. That's what they needed to do, and they're doing that right now, and they're looking really, really, really solid right now. I think that they need Jeff Green back so that the defense can be a little bit better. I still think they're behind in that, but with the offensive talent that they have, they might be able to cope with it and be able to match that. Let's get into the last game of the night, which was the Clippers versus Mavs. This series, oh man, if you watch my recap after the Clippers lost game 2, you think that I look like a total idiot. I won't lie. I look like a total idiot. But the Clippers, man, said, you know what? Let's go into Dallas and take 2 games, and they did that. Wow. So we got to give credit to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and the entire Clippers team. We talked about it and we said that this team doesn't feel like they have any energy on either side of the ball. And defensively, they figured out what they needed to do. I think that Luka being injured with he has a cervical strain, and it's a weird injury where they were talking about it where it feels moved, like your body's not paralyzed, but your body is stiff. And you can see that in Luka's face. And if you guys watch game 1 and game 2, what made the game so tough for the Clippers to actually beat the Mavericks, and why they lost, was because Luka was able to just run the pick and roll and find guys open. And then again, they did have bad switching with having Zubac on him, but Luka was able to do whatever he wanted. Now they're limiting Luka, and this injury is limiting Luka. So it's going to be very, very tough on what they do. Now, we got to give credit to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, no question, especially Kawhi Leonard, because even in the first 2 games where they did lose, he has been balling. So has Paul George. And I think that, again, I said it before, people love to slander Paul George. They love to make fun about the Clippers, but these 2 guys have been doing what they needed to do. You have the offensive, the others on the Clippers are now hitting their shots. They're getting much more comfortable in the offense. I think starting Reggie Jackson instead of was it Pat Bev who started? I gotta be sure. Don't quote me on this, but I know Reggie Jackson is starting now. But their offense is looking way so much better. And in today's game, the Mavericks, I think that it was just a bad shooting night, and I do think that it will be better. I believe by the time I'm recording this right now, they only had 4 threes in this game. So this is just a game where it's a 3-game series, just like the Lakers series. So really, it's 2 games. Who can win those? I think that the Clippers have the best shot of winning this series, even though they were down 0-2. Just because, one, if Luka isn't able to be healthy, it's gonna mess up the entire offense for the Dallas Mavericks, because his ability to run the pick and roll and get to where he wants to get to, and having the defense have to commit to him and figure out a way to stop him, it gave guys so much more spacing and so much more room to get into a rhythm and knock down open shots. And we saw this in game 1 and game 2. And due to the fact Kawhi Leonard is just playing at an all-time level right now, super efficient. Paul George is that second option, and he's producing more than a second option. He's doing what he needs to do. Man, and it comes to a point where, like, we just don't slander a team because we don't like them, but with their backs against the wall, the Clippers answered. And these are what championship teams do. Championship teams, when your back is against the wall, you figure out what you need to do, and the Clippers are doing that. So, I mean, we got to give them their credit where credit is due. But so again, we have the Knicks, who are down 3-1. Suns versus Lakers tied up. We don't know who's going to win that series right now due to the injuries with AD. LeBron's going to have to go crazy. CP3, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton are trying to go ahead and get these guys out of here. Celtics versus Nets. The Nets are building their chemistry, getting ready to face the Bucks. And Clippers versus Mavs, a series that we thought was going to be a 4-0 sweep, might turn into a 7-game series. So a lot of playoff action has been happening, man. We're keeping up with it on the channel, of course. Again, if you enjoy the content, I urge you to go ahead and subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends about the content that's on this channel, share it with your people, let them know about DJ Steve-O. Follow me on all my social media accounts as well. And until next time, stay on beat.